After 12 years of silence, a girl discovered a hidden truth that transformed a millionaire's daughter. Emma's heart raced, her hands trembling as she clutched the dusty envelope she'd found tucked away in her mother's old boxes. This was it. After years of feeling the weight of an empty space in her heart, maybe here lay answers. She hesitated for just a moment. Images of her father, a ghost lost in her memories, flooded her mind. She had been 8 when he left, a quick goodbye lingering painfully like the sweet scent of her mother's homemade cherry pie, now sour with neglect. The letter felt heavy, representing years of unspoken grief and a longing for connection. With the summer sun streaming through the attic window, illuminating the dust motes swirling in the air, she ripped open the envelope, holding her breath. Each word from the letter felt like a punch to her gut. Her father, a man who had turned his back on his family, had been living a life she could hardly fathom. The whispers of scandal, the betrayal that shook their town, and the secret legacy he left behind. She sobbed softly, her chest tight as the realization sank in. All this time, he hadn't just abandoned her, he had abandoned the truth. Emma felt empowered yet shattered. Could she confront him? Could she face the man who donned the mask of a millionaire while she and her mother struggled to scrape together their lives? The town of Maplewood had always nurtured her, making her resilient. But a thrum of anger and urgency merged with her pain, fueling her decision. She had to know. "I need to find him," she whispered, determination igniting within her. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she ventured towards the sprawling mansion that had once felt like a distant dream, she could feel the town's eyes fixed on her. Some whispered encouragement, while others trembled with worry. Many had witnessed the toll her father's departure had taken on her and her mother. Emma's steps felt heavy, but she pushed on, fueled by the promise of revelations. The grandeur of the mansion loomed before her, a stark contrast to the humble home she cherished. It seemed wrong that he could live in luxury while her life felt so fractured. When she stood at the grand door, her heart thundered in her chest. She knocked, feeling the weight of a dozen years crashing down with each passing second. The door creaked open, revealing a man older, expectant, unmistakably her father. In that moment, emotion swelled, anger bubbling to the surface. "Why did you leave?" she shouted, her voice breaking the quiet all too easily. The confrontation spiraled, bitter truths unraveling like a frayed thread. Emma's heart raced with each accusation. Their dialogue morphed into chaos, revealing her father's dismissive arrogance while Emma stood her ground, fueled by the values her mother instilled in her. Could she find peace in the chaos? As she stormed away from his mansion, the weight of a fractured family hung heavily around her shoulders. Yet, amid the tumult, Emma knew Maplewood was more than a town, it was home. And perhaps the transformation she yearned for wasn't just about reconciling with her father but igniting a spark of change within her community. With hope flickering, she began to envision a future where wounds could heal, and that journey would take root in her heart. But could she truly forgive a man who had given her so much sorrow? The answers loomed like shadows, whispering tantalizingly on the edge of her mind, as she stepped forward ready to embrace the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Emma walked through the familiar streets of Maplewood, her heart a tumultuous mix of anger and longing. The town felt different now, vibrant with life yet shrouded in memories that beckoned her back to happier times. She could hear the laughter of children playing in the park, the chatter of neighbors catching up, and for a moment, she was lost in the nostalgia. But then reality crashed in, the weight of her father's betrayal pulling her back. The image of the mansion, so grand and yet so cold, loomed large in her mind, a reminder of the life she had been denied. She paused by the old oak tree, a sentinel of her childhood. It was here that she and her friends would gather, laughing and dreaming without a care in the world. Did her father ever think of those moments? Did he ever look back at the little girl he had left behind? Emma shook her head, trying to dispel the thoughts. It was time to turn her gaze forward. She needed to channel this hurt into something constructive. Gathering her resolve, she picked up her phone and dialed Jill, her best friend since childhood. "I need you to come over," Emma said, her voice steady. "I think it's time for a change." A familiar voice filled her ears. "On my way." What happened? Emma hesitated, wondering how much to reveal. "I found my father. And I confronted him." "Whoa, that's massive. I'll be there in a few." Just a short while later, Jill arrived, her face lighting up with concern and warmth. "Okay, spill it." Slumping onto the sofa, Emma felt a rush of emotion. She shared everything: her encounter with her father, the letter, the pain of abandonment. Jill listened intently, her brow furrowed, absorbing every word. "Emma," she said after a moment, "you're so strong. You deserve to find your voice. But what if it's too late?" Emma's voice caught, tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. "What if I can't forgive him?" Jill reached over and squeezed her hand. "Forgiveness isn't about him, Emma. It's about you. Think about how freeing it could feel to let go of the weight he left behind." The idea settled in Emma's mind, swirling with hope and dread. Could she really break free from the chains of her past? "Maybe we can do something bigger," Jill suggested, excitement bubbling in her tone. "What if we organized a community event? Something to bring everyone together, to heal? After what you've been through, this could be your chance to help others." Emma's heart raced. "You mean like a town gathering?" "Exactly. You could share your story, inspire others to confront their own struggles." The thoughts fired up her imagination. She could see the park, families gathering, their faces open and ready for connection. Perhaps this was her calling, a way to turn her pain into strength, a way to redefine her story. As they brainstormed ideas, a sense of purpose filled the room. It felt tangible, a flicker of light breaking through the darkness. But would the people of Maplewood welcome her story, or would they see her only as the millionaire's daughter longing for her father's approval? That night, Emma tossed and turned, excitement battling with uncertainty. In the quiet moments, she could almost hear the sounds of laughter and music filling the air. Would her community embrace her, or would they turn away? She knew that the journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but what if this was the path to healing? Could she find the courage to take the first step? And just as sleep began to claim her, a thought struck her: what if her father's actions had unknowingly set her on this path? What if the truth she sought was not just about reconciling with him, but about discovering herself? Emma awoke the next morning with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to face what lay ahead. As she prepared to pitch the idea to the town council, a spark of doubt flickered. Was she truly ready for this? Tomorrow would bring clarity, but today, she would take that first step into the light. Would her story inspire others, or would it leave her as alone as before? The whispers danced on the edge, waiting for her to find out. Emma stood in front of her bathroom mirror, the soft morning light spilling through the window, casting a warm glow on her face. She fiddled with her hair, debating whether to wear it down or pulled back. Somehow, it felt important to look just right for her first real attempt at healing. After years of stepping back into the shadows, she was ready to step into the spotlight. With a final deep breath, she gathered her courage and slipped on an outfit that felt comfortable yet appropriate. Mixing the old with the new, she chose a bright blue blouse that reminded her of a carefree summer's afternoon. Today was the day. Once she arrived at the town hall, the familiar building loomed ahead of her. It was a place filled with memories of past community gatherings, filled with laughter and warmth, a stark contrast to the coldness she felt days before. Emma's heart pounded as she entered, and for a moment, uncertainty gnawed at her. What if they didn't accept her? What if the people who once cherished her turned away once they learned about her father? But Jill tugged her arm gently, pulling her back to the moment. "Just breathe," she whispered. "You've got this. Remember, this is for you and the community." As they took their seats in front of the council, Emma studied the members. Some wore expressions of boredom, while others looked genuinely interested. The mayor, a kind woman with graying hair and sparkling eyes, smiled at Emma as she approached the podium. Her heart did a leap, sensing an ally in the crowd. With eyes scanning the room, Emma felt the weight of every expectation pressing down on her. She took a steadying breath and began to speak, her voice trembling ever so slightly at first. "Thank you all for gathering today. I have something close to my heart I'd like to share." As her story unfolded, Emma felt the barriers she had built around her heart begin to dissolve. Each word carried her further from the hurt of her father's actions and deeper into a newfound sense of purpose. The gasps and whispers around the room punctuated her tale. She saw the surprise in their eyes, a blend of disbelief and sympathy. When she mentioned the idea of a community gathering, an uproar of chatter erupted. "We need this." Haven Tea had anything like that since the enthusiasm was palpable, and for the first time, Emma felt she wasn't just reclaiming her story, she was participating in something bigger than herself. Jill beamed beside her, clapping excitedly. "Yes. This is what we need. A place where we can all come together and heal." As the council discussed logistics, Emma's heart surged with hope. Maybe this event would be the start of something transformative, not just for her but for the town. Yet a flicker of fear still lingered within her, a nagging thought. What if unveiling her story didn't lead to acceptance but to judgment? How would she face her father if he chose to show up? Suddenly, a figure emerged at the back of the room. It was a man with familiar features towering against the sunlight flooding through the building's entrance. Time froze as her heart sank. Could it be? Her breath caught in her throat as the figure stepped forward, bringing with him an air of tension that rippled through the crowd. Emma's hands trembled at her sides. This was how she imagined today would go, but what did fate have in store? The moment felt electric as every eye turned to the man she could never forget. Would he support her? Would he attempt to twist her narrative once again? As all those thoughts raced through her mind, she steadied her gaze on him, resolute. Emma had mustered her strength for this very moment, and she wasn't about to back down. Her heart drummed violently. Today, she would either forge a new connection even amid the chaos or face the truth she'd been avoiding for all these years. And the question loomed larger than ever: would her father stand with her, or would he be the very reason she would need to run? Emma's heart raced as she locked eyes with the figure at the back of the room. There he was, her father, standing tall and impassive, as if time had not altered him at all. She couldn't read his expression, it was a mask of indifference that made her stomach churn. Memories surged within her, memories of laughter twisted into silence, of love tainted by betrayal. Her pulse echoed in her ears, drowning out the murmurs of the crowd. She felt the collective breath of the audience, held tight with anticipation. Emma gathered herself, forcing out the doubts lurking in her mind. This was not about him, it was about her. It was about the community. "Dad?" The word fell from her lips before she could stop it, a tremor of hope and fear intertwining. For a moment, he looked taken aback, as if he hadn't expected her to acknowledge him. As his gaze softened, she saw a flicker. Perhaps a desire for reconciliation? Perhaps he simply didn't understand why she'd left? But that was a question for another time. "Emma," he finally spoke, his voice smoother than she remembered but heavy with a timbre of inevitability. She clenched her fists, recalling the weight of his presence over the years, the weight of his decisions that had weighed her down. "You can't just show up here now," she exclaimed, emotion breaking through her carefully constructed facade. "Not when I'm trying to build something worthwhile. Not when you're Emma, I just want to talk." His attempt at calm simmered under the murmurs. "I want to explain." Every part of her screamed to run away, to retreat back to the safety of her chosen family, her friends who stood close by, watching this exchange unfold. Yet something held her in place. "What can you possibly say?" she shot back. "After everything?" That was it. Her voice cut through the atmosphere, thick with the heaviness of the memories shared and broken, of moments irrevocably lost. The startled gasps from the council members only amplified her determination. She needed to release this weight. "I'm trying to heal, to find a way back to my life. But you being here?" She struggled to control her voice. "You're just pulling me back." The mayor stepped in, sensing the tension thickening among the audience. "Maybe we could give your father a chance to speak, Emma. This is about healing for both of you." Emma's gaze flickered back to her father. Hope flickered through the despair. The man she remembered seemed far away from the monster she had built in her mind. Or maybe he was the same person, just changed by the consequences of his past. The crowd fell quiet, a strange sense of belonging surrounding them all as the mayor nodded at her father, giving him the chance to address the room. But before he could speak, Emma's heart wavered, torn between anger and an odd sense of connection. Would his voice, laden with years of silence, break or mend the broken pieces of their shared history? Did she truly want to hear his explanation, risking the hurt all over again? "Emma, his voice echoed softly, and she held her breath, yearning to know what was behind the years of absence, but terrified of facing the truth of who he had become. At that moment, she had a choice to walk away or to step forward into the unknown. Could she find strength enough to listen? "Stop," she said, her voice firm yet trembling. "Before we go any further, I need to know why now." The question hung in the air, a taut line waiting to snap. Emma stared at her father, the silence almost unbearable. Her heart thudded with anticipation, bracing itself for an answer that could change everything or nothing at all. What would he finally reveal? Would it be the truth she hoped for or another layer of betrayal? And could she handle either outcome? "Because I couldn't stay away any longer," he finally said, his voice low but steady. Emma felt the weight of that confession settle over the room like a thick fog. "Couldn't stay away?" she echoed, incredulity spilling into her words. "You've spent 12 years staying away from me, from us. What makes today so different?" He took a step forward, a hesitant motion that seemed to make the crowd collectively inhale. "It's complicated, Emma. But I couldn't watch you struggle from afar anymore. I've wanted to be here, but... She interrupted, her anger spilling over. "You made a choice. Your choice was easier than mine. You walked away, and now you want to saunter back in and act like it's all okay?" The murmurs grew louder around them, the council members whispering among themselves, the air thick with empathy and tension. "Emma, listen to me," he implored, hand stretched out in a placating gesture. "I understand that words won't erase the hurt I caused. I didn't plan to hurt you. I didn't plan to hurt anyone. Then what did you plan?" The question felt more profound than she intended, a challenge laced with hurt. "Did you plan to leave and hope I would just forget you were my father?" He opened his mouth to reply but faltered as if the weight of the truth hung just beyond his reach. The crowd hung on to every moment, a sea of eyes focused on this fragile reconnection. Emma's heart thudded steadily in her chest. There was a fine thread connecting her to him, one she had thought severed but now felt taut, like a piano string ready to snap or sing. "Truth is, Emma," he said, voice trembling slightly, "I was scared. Scared of facing the consequences of my actions. I thought leaving would protect you from my mistakes." "Protect me?" She laughed bitterly. "You thought abandoning me would protect me? Do you have any idea what that left me with?" "I know. And I regret it every day," he admitted, his voice cracking. "I can't take away the years, but I'm asking for a chance to explain, to make it right." A flicker of something more profound touched Emma's heart. Was he really asking for a chance? The memories of a small girl waiting by the front door surfaced in her mind, the hugs, the laughter, the dreams. But with them came the echoes of nights spent crying, feeling abandoned. Why should I believe you? She pressed, desperation leaking into her voice. What can you say that will make you any different from the father I remember? I've changed, he whispered. I've had to sit in my own darkness all this time. I had to face myself, and I failed miserably. But I want to make it right, Emma. For you. For us. The weight of his words hung in the air, a silent grasp on something profound yet fragile. Emma felt uncertainty seeping into her bones. Could she trust this man in front of her? The man who had once been her whole world and had turned it upside down. As she took a shaky breath, her mind swirled with possibilities, with fears and hopes all commingled. The boy she had loved, the man who had left, and the father standing before her blended into a single question that demanded to be answered. Tell me about all of it, she said, her heart racing faster than before. Tell me about what happened, and then maybe just maybe, I'll listen. With her decision weighing on each word, the crowd's anticipation thickened. Would the truth set her free or shackle her even more? As her father took a deep breath, Emma braced herself for a revelation that could alter everything she thought she knew about herself and him. Could this really be a beginning instead of an ending? As he opened his mouth to speak, her heart raced. What would his words summon? Would it be hope or despair? And could she withstand the weight of the truth he was about to unveil? He inhaled deeply, the air quivering around them like a live wire, and Emma held her breath, caught in the moment between tension and release. I wanted to tell you everything the day I left, but fear paralyzed me, he began, his voice raspy as he searched for the right words. I thought I was protecting you from the truth. I thought if I just disappeared, you wouldn't have to bear the weight of who I really am. Emma felt the world tilt slightly, his words resonating in her chest like a drumbeat. And what is that? Who are you? She asked, frustration simmering in her voice. A coward? A man running from responsibilities? He flinched but pressed on. It's more complicated than that. You have to understand, Emma, I got involved with things that were dangerous. Things that could hurt you. Your safety was always my priority, even if it didn't seem like it. The cloud of anger inside her swirled with confusion. What things? What do you mean? There are decisions I made, he continued, voice heavy with the weight of memories. Relationships I formed that put you directly in harm's way. I've dealt with people, dark individuals. I thought leaving would shield you from the consequences of my wrong choices. I didn't want you to live in my mess. The murmurs around them quieted, the air thickening with unasked questions, and Emma's heart raced. What had he been involved in? The idea of her father in danger twisted something inside of her, a mix of fear and a longing to protect him in return. So, you left because of me? Because you thought I would suffer for your mistakes? Yes, he answered, his gaze unwavering and painful. It was selfish, but I was blinded by my fear. I didn't stop to think about the kind of suffering my absence would inflict on you. Pain etched through Emma, sharp like broken glass. And what do you think I've suffered since then? Do you think I lived a golden life without you? Her voice trembled, galvanizing the crowd, who leaned in, captivated. I grew up without a father. Every birthday, every school event, every time I graduated there was a hole in my life that I couldn't fill. Your absence didn't protect me. It broke me. He stepped closer, the crowd fading from her peripheral vision as if they were the only two people on earth. I know, Emma. I see that now. All the moments I missed, all the pain I caused. They haunt me. But I'm back to make things right. I want to help you now, not just as a father but as a man trying to fix the past. Will you let me? Emma's heart hammered against her chest, caught between the urge to scream and the desire to let him back in. Could he really change? Was this the moment she had waited for, or just another illusion ready to collapse? What makes you think you can fix anything? she managed, tears pooling in her eyes. Because I'm willing to fight for you, he replied, his eyes locking onto hers. I've faced my demons, and now I want to help you face yours. We don't have to be alone anymore. The raw vulnerability in his voice unspooled something deep within her. But before she could respond, a commotion erupted in the crowd. Someone shouted, "You don't belong here. This is just a game for you." The uncertainty echoed in the air as others joined in, the tension escalating again. Emma turned back to her father, and what was meant to be a moment of potential healing now teetered on the edge of chaos. "Don't listen to them, Emma," he urged, desperation in his tone. "I'm here because I care." But could she trust him again in a world that so swiftly turned bitter? As her heart ached for clarity, a shadow flickered at the edge of her vision, a figure she recognized. The man who had threatened their fragile peace was approaching, a sinister smile creeping across his face. Emma felt the weight of the moment steal her breath. Would this revelation usher in hope, or would it drown her in darkness again? As her gaze shifted to meet this new adversary, she wondered just how deep the web of lies entangled them all. The man emerged from the crowd, his confident stride echoing the certainty of his intentions. Emma's stomach churned at the sight of him, the same man who had loomed like a shadow over her memories, a haunting reminder of the secrets that had shaped her life. She tightened her fists, every instinct telling her to brace for impact. "Look who decided to return," he sneered, his voice slicing through the air. "A lost father trying to reclaim what he abandoned. How quaint." Her father's face darkened at the words. "Stay out of this," he warned, stepping defensively in front of her. The protective instinct in him sent a flicker of warmth through Emma, contrasting sharply with the cold reality of the confrontation. "Why should I?" the man continued, amusement flickering in his eyes. "You think this charade of redemption will change anything? You're still the same man who ran away when things got hard." With every word, Emma's heart raced, the tension spiraling. She could feel the crowd leaning in closer, a collective breath held as they watched the unfolding drama. Emma's mind raced. She wanted to scream, to tell him he was wrong, that her father was trying to change. But as she stood there, rooted in confusion, something deeper began to awaken within her. "Ben, that's enough," Emma finally shouted, surprising even herself. The name fell from her lips like a daring challenge, infused with the anger she had swallowed for too long. "You don't own me, none of this is your game." Ben's eyes narrowed, surprise flashing across his face before transforming into malicious glee. "Is that right?" He turned the focus back to her father. "And you think Emma will believe your empty promises? You've been gone for so long. What do you have to show for it?" "I have nothing to prove to you," her father shot back, his voice firm with a newfound conviction. "I want to prove it to my daughter. This isn't your fight to taint." "But it is, isn't it?" Ben smirked, the tension thickening in the air like a storm about to break. She's caught between two worlds, the father who gave up on her and the darkness you've dragged into her life. The words echoed painfully in Emma's mind, a bitter truth intertwining with the remnants of her father's revelations. The past didn't just vanish, it lingered like smoke, and now it was swirling dangerously close. "Stop talking about my father like he's a villain," Emma shot back, her voice rising with each word. "He's trying to come back and make things right. Something you wouldn't understand." Ben glanced at her, and for a fleeting second, Emma saw something unguarded in his expression of vulnerability masked behind the bravado. "You have no idea what you're getting into. He's already lost you once. What makes you think he won't do it again?" "Because I won't let him." She spat the words with a ferocity she didn't know she possessed. Somewhere inside her a fiery resolve ignited, urging her to claim her narrative, to rewrite the past. As she looked to her father, she saw a glimmer of hope transform the shadow of doubt over his face. Then, just like that, another noise cut through the tension, a sound that froze her in place. A clicking noise, sharp and definitive, followed by a low voice that sent chills down her spine. Enough of this drama. The authority in the voice seemed to blanket the chaos as a figure emerged, flanking Ben, a man draped in darkness. The very presence sent waves of recognition coursing through her. Who was this new player in their tangled web? As apprehension grew, Emma realized that whatever remnants of peace she'd thought they were approaching now had a price. In that charged moment, just before the unraveling of her world began anew, she met her father's gaze, searching for reassurance. But as the truth of their situation bore down on her, she couldn't help but wonder, would they ever find a way out of this, or was it all destined to implode under the weight of their shared past? The figure stepped closer, the crowd parting reluctantly, as if sensing the danger that lurked around him. Darkness wrapped around him like a cape, and with every step, Emma felt her heart fight to keep pace. She breathed in slowly, wishing the air could wash away the tension that coal-mined its way into her throat. Do you even recognize what's at stake? His deep voice slithered into their bubble of confrontation, holding a weight that rattled her confidence. This isn't just about you three, playing out your little family drama. Emma's pulse quickened as she processed his words. Who are you? She demanded, her voice defiant, as she edged away from her father's protection to confront this stranger. There was something in his eyes, dark and piercing, that seemed to see right through her. You can call me Adam, he said, a smirk creeping along his lips. And I'm here to unravel all your little secrets. You should be known better, Emma. Secrets? Emma blinked, lost. The word was a live wire buzzing in her mind. She had dealt with so many tangled truths, how could there be more? Ben observed with the satisfaction of a cat poised before a cornered mouse. Her father moved closer, clenching his jaw. You have no right. He shouted, stepping forward, his protective instincts roaring back to life. This is between family. Keep your nose out of it. But Adam only chuckled darkly. Family? You call this a family? A father who sneaks back in after years of absence just to reclaim the daughter he abandoned? He turned his back on her father, gesturing to the other bystanders, now entranced by the drama. Emma, listen to me. Your father is not who you think he is. Emma's heart raced. She glanced at her father, his eyes were wide with alarm. What do you mean? She asked, her voice trembling now, uncertainty invading her steadiness. Truth is a fickle thing, Adam replied, voice thick with condescension. One misstep and it vanishes. But I know things about both of them. He pointed to Ben, still smirking, and then back to her father. And you deserve to know the truth. Emma felt the air grow heavy around her, as if everyone was collectively holding their breath. What truth? She pressed, her resolve sharp and clear, even in the face of panic. She heard her father's silent plea in his eyes, a warning wrapped in fear. Your father's past is riddled with things he's desperate to hide, Adam continued. And if you want answers, he is not the one to give them. His gaze locked on hers, the weight of his words carrying a chilling finality. It's time to confront the man behind the mask. Emma felt her chest tighten. Questions pressed against her brain, each one vowing to tear through the fragile landscape of her emotions. Tell me, she demanded, stepping forward, curious and rebellious, as if she could will the truth out of the shadows. Adam took a breath, as if savoring the coming revelation. Your mother, but the moment of truth would not be so easily grasped. An insistent shrill pierced through the tension, the jarring sound of her phone vibrating wildly in her pocket. It was a text. She fumbled to pull it out, her fingers shaky as hope and dread began to tangle. As she read the message, her heart plummeted and the world around her faded away. What did the text say? Would it be the key to the secrets Adam was whispering about, or would it fracture her world even further? Anxiety gripped her as she looked up, desperate and wide-eyed, ready for whatever came next. The crowd buzzed around her, a low murmur that felt miles away. Emma stared at the screen, her mind racing over the words that turned her world to static. We need to talk. Meet me at the diner. It's about your mother. The text was from a number she didn't recognize, but it chilled her to the bone. What does it say? Ben's smirk faded, curiosity flickering in his eyes. Emma tore her gaze from the phone, searching her father's expression. His face was a mask of tension, a storm brewing beneath the surface. I don't know, she stuttered, the words tasting bitter. She could feel the air thickening with anticipation, the weight of unspoken things hanging heavily over them. Emma, you have to focus, Adam urged, his voice suddenly sharper, cutting through the fog of uncertainty. This man has lied to you for years. Don't let him spin you a tale that suits him. Go away. Her father barked, the warmth of his earlier protectiveness turning icy. She doesn't need to hear any of this. I'm her father, and I would never lie to her. But you have. Adam shot back, malice dripping from his tone. Emma watched, a spectator in a dangerous game of wills, as they faced off in an invisible arena. Enough. Just everyone stop. Emma shouted, her voice rising like a sudden thunderclap. She felt the crowd cower, their whispers fading. Tell me about my mother. The challenge hung in the air, echoing through the silent watchers. Emma's heart pounded, each beat urging her to demand the truth, yet fear curled in her stomach. Adam stepped forward, his presence commanding. Your mother isn't who you think she is, neither are you. Emma spat back, desperately trying to regain control of the conversation. Emma, her father interrupted, his voice softer, almost pleading. You don't have to listen to him. The statement sent a jolt of anger through her. But I want to. She insisted, frustration breaking through. I've spent my life in the dark. I deserve to know what's true. With newfound determination, she turned back to Adam. Tell me. He leaned in, eyes gleaming with a sinister delight. Your mother left something behind, a piece of her past that haunts this family. The truth will unfold like a scroll, and it might just tear the fabric of your reality apart. The weight of his words settled over her, suffocating and intoxicating. She was torn between loyalty to her father and the desperate need to unravel the tangled web of her mother's story. The crowd shifted uneasily, their collective anticipation palpable. Emma's breaths came faster, each one a reminder of how precarious her understanding of family had always been. Meet me at the diner, Adam said insistently, cutting through her tumult. Just you. If you want to know more, that's where you'll find the truth. I can't just go alone. Emma protested, feeling her heart race. Memories of cheesy fries and iced tea at that diner flooded her mind. You must, Adam pressed, his tone eerily calm. If you want to get to the heart of this matter, you have to meet the shadows of your past by yourself. For a moment, time froze. Emma's world felt like it was tilted on its axis. Could she trust him? Or was this just another manipulation in a long line of lies? As confusion gripped her, she saw her father's face, etched with worry, pleading her to reconsider. But in that moment of vulnerability, a visceral realization moved through her. There was a part of herself that would never know peace until she pulled the veil away. Emma straightened, squaring her shoulders. I'll go, she said firmly, making her decision. The gasps around her echoed in her ears. Emma, please, her father hissed, desperation leaking into his voice. But as she turned, resolute and shaking, another text vibrated her phone. Just one word flashed across the screen: don't. Her heart raced again. The stakes were escalating. Emma's next move was critical, and she could already feel the pull of dark tides as she stepped toward the unknown. Would she emerge with the truth, or would it sweep her away, unearthing secrets best left buried? The diner was old but alive, filled with the scent of greasy burgers and coffee, a warmth that felt almost comforting. Yet, as Emma stepped inside, her heart thundered in her chest. She spotted Adam in a booth at the back, his demeanor cool and collected, just waiting for her like he was expecting her all along. As she approached, Adam's eyes sparkled with an intensity that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. "You came, Emma," he said, his voice smooth. "You're brave." "Brave is one way to put it," Emma replied, her words clipped. "I'm not sure why I'm here." "What do you want?" "You want answers," Adam stated, leaning closer, a mix of intrigue and menace in his gaze. "And I'm here to offer you a piece of your mother's past." Emma's gut twisted. "What do you know about my mother?" He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "More than your father ever has. You deserve to know the full story. She wasn't just a loving mother, Emma. She had secrets. Dangerous ones." Her breath caught in her throat. "What kind of secrets?" With a flick of his wrist, Adam gestured to the empty seats around them. "Let's just say her life wasn't ever as simple as it appeared. At the heart of it all was a decision she made to protect you from a world that would have consumed you both." Emma felt a chill ripple through her. "Stop dancing around the point. What did she do?" He sighed, relishing the moment. "There was a reason your father left, you know. It wasn't just his choice alone. He was involved in something unsavory. Your mother couldn't bear the thought of you being pulled into that darkness." "Why should I believe anything you say?" Emma shot back, anger flaring. "You don't even know me." "I know enough," he countered, his voice low and serious. "I know that your father has been trying to shield you from the truths hidden in the shadows of your family lineage. But it's time to shed light on those shadows." The words hung heavily in the air, twisting Emma's heart. Was Adam telling the truth? Her confusion mixed with the aching desire to understand the origins of her pain. It rose like a swell, threatening to become a tide that engulfed her. "If I had answers," Adam continued, "would you be willing to confront your father? To ask those difficult questions that have haunted you?" Emma inhaled sharply, wrestling with her emotions. "I've spent years trying to figure out who I am without him. Why would his secrets matter now?" "Because they're your secrets too," Adam said simply, piercing her with a stare that felt as though it could unravel her entirely. "Knowing your mother's history is the key to your future. It may even explain why he returned now. Understanding who he was might help you reclaim your own identity." A knot twisted tighter in Emma's stomach. "What happened to her?" she demanded, her voice dropping to a whisper filled with dread. Adam leaned in. "Your mother made a choice, Emma, a choice to end associations she never should have had in the first place. And in trying to do right, she stumbled into the path of someone dangerous. Her actions led to your father leaving, and while he might have thought he was protecting you, your mother foresaw the consequences and lied to shield you both from his world." For a moment, Emma felt as if the floor had dropped out from under her. It was dizzying, this sense of unraveling. "What if I don't want to acknowledge these truths?" she whispered, the words trembling. "Then nothing changes," Adam replied. "You'll remain stuck in a loop of rejection and hurt. But if you seek out the truth, you can break free from your past." Emma's skin prickled with realization. Could she truly confront her mother's legacy? Could she untangle the mess of her family's history in order to find her own footing? The thought both terrified and invigorated her. "I'll do it," she declared, pockets of resolve building. The power of her words engulfed her, filling her with the courage she thought lost. "I'll confront him." "Good." Adam's expression shifted, a flicker of respect momentarily crossing his features. "But remember, embracing the truth comes with a price. It may hurt, but it's the only way you will be free." As Emma rose from the booth, determination coursed through her. "I don't know where this journey will lead me. But I need to face him," she said, gratitude seeping into her resolve. "Thank you for giving me the chance to find my voice." She stepped out of the diner, her heart thundering. The sun bathed Maplewood in a warm embrace as she walked back to face her father. Years could no longer stand in her way. She was ready to uncover the hidden truths and weave them into the story of who she was meant to be. As she approached the council building, she felt a wave of warmth wash over her. The doubts and fears of the past faded, replaced by burgeoning hope. This was her moment, a chance to stand tall and reclaim her narrative. And finally, find the family she truly deserved, one born from healing, understanding, and the acceptance of shared truths. Now was the time to rise and speak her truth. Emma felt lighter as she stepped forward, ready to write a new ending, one built on connection rather than separation, love rather than fear. In that moment, she knew she was no longer just Emma, the daughter abandoned. She was Emma, ready for transformation, and as she stepped into the crowd, she was determined to own her story. Now, let us not wait another second. Make sure you subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss exclusive stories like this. Leave a like now to boost our reach and keep the stories coming. And don't forget to comment below your thoughts on Emma's journey and how you felt about this ending. Finally, share the video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. You need to support us. This is the moment. Don't wait not even one more second to share this. Let us spread these stories together.